We are on top of the mountain.
I don't think we are. I think we missed a turn.
Hi, my name is Chandler. I'm a recovering attorney and an avid adventurer.
And I'm Ashton, former nanny. I don't know what else I want to be. We're gonna figure it out.
And this is our dog Millie. She is a 1-year-old Scottish Terrier with a lot of personality. For years, we were working the corporate grind in New York City. Even though we were making a lot of money and living what many people would consider to be the high life, we often found that free time was non-existent. That's where Vandit came in. Vandit is a 1999 Dodge Ram van conversion. Now we are traveling the country trying to steal as many tomorrows as we can before the real world catches up. After purchasing the Vandit, we were left with the question of what exactly we wanted to do with it. Were we going to use it for weekend getaways and camping trips, or embark on the trip of a lifetime? Ashton and I both had dreams of traveling the country, but we didn't want to jump into things without the proper preparation. So we decided that we should start planning and preparing like we were going to dive into van life, and then we could simply abandon those plans if it turned out we wanted to do something else, or if other options emerged. So with the goal of a prolonged road trip in mind, we decided to head back up the Metro North Railway towards Peekskill, where we had previously parked the van. This was our third time on the railroad, but the fall colors looked amazing, and it seemed like a perfect day to get out of the city. On our first trip to the Blue Mountain Reservation, the rain had prevented us from doing much exploring. But this time around, the autumn weather and beautiful leaves provided the perfect environment to explore and discuss our future. Millie also seemed excited to get out of the house, so we hopped out of the van and began our first hiking adventure.
Welcome to Vanlife Adventure, kind of part one. I guess unless you count our rainy day adventure when we picked up the van as part one. Ashton and I we're hiking up. We're at the same park we were at last time. We're actually going up the trails and exploring. Raining. It's not super rainy. We're trying to be on the summit path, but it's not clear that we're actually going that way. But it's a beautiful day out here today. The leaves are changing. Millie is very, very happy. So hopefully we don't get too lost. But that's kind of half the fun anyways. Adventure Series Chandler 2020. Woo!
Please don't fall.
Okay, this is actually not as stable as I thought it would be.
Millie's freaking out.
Millie, okay. Woohoo! This is how we live on the edge. This is about as adventurous as we get.
Not true. We're pretty adventurous.
We're pretty adventurous.
Hi, Millie. Millie wants you to come back, though. Woohoo!
This whole thing, though, is only an hour train ride outside of New York City.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing what you can get into up here, pretty close to the city. I don't think people really appreciate how much, wilderness and just things to see and do there is up here. Okay, we've come to a fork in the road. I think we want to go right. We'll see if we get lost.
Some nights I'm having a hard time keeping my head above the water.
Blue Mountain Reservation was only about a 10-minute drive from our preferred parking spot, so it made for an easy adventure. Despite the short distance, this was a trip that would have been difficult to do without a car, as it was about 3 miles from the nearest train station, so we were appreciative to get a lift from the Vandit. The park was popular amongst hikers and mountain bikers alike, and it was dog-friendly, so we could bring Millie around. Although the paths can get confusing and there are some rocky sections, it's a perfect place to enjoy some laid-back exercise and take a time out from city life.
If you keep it together too.
What's going on, hon?
can't break you.
You a little out of shape? A little bit. We are on top of the mountain.
I don't think we are. I don't think we made it.
I don't see you were higher.
And I got you there to hold me. Never stop calling.
It's hard to say that we made the decision to go all in on full-time van life in any one moment. But standing on the mountain peak and feeling truly happy and carefree for the first time in months was definitely a turning point. We still had to make it down the mountain, but it felt like we were walking back to a changed destiny.
If you keep it together too.
This is truly amazing. It's like just serene.
Why haven't we been doing this?
I know. It makes you really wonder why haven't we been doing this ever since we got to New York? It's it really is awesome.
By the time we got back home, things just felt different. We decided to start planning for a potential loop around the lower 48 states. Our route would be approximately circular and would involve seeing as many national parks as possible, while also enjoying everything that van life has to offer and mentally recharging for the future. Our plan would be tested in 3 different phases. Phase 1 would involve several more weekend trips and beginning to pack our things. These were simple steps and could easily be reversed. Phase 2 would involve a several thousand-mile road trip to Tulsa, Oklahoma for Thanksgiving. We hoped this would give us a sense of whether we'd be able to handle a long trip in the Vandit. Finally, Phase 3 would involve us getting rid of almost all of our belongings and driving to Florida, where we'd experiment with full-time van life while still working. This phase would last about a month and would be our final test before taking the leap and leaving the corporate world behind.
Okay, so we're at moving day part 1. Technically we've got like 2 months. It's packing day part 1 and the apartment is a disaster zone. So this is our before shot. Woohoo! And then we're gonna have an after shot. What did we just do?
We freaking drove the box and a suitcase to the subway to the train station.
Box and a suitcase. It was a lot. We're tired. Moving sucks. Throwing away all your stuff sucks. But after today, makes me want to throw away everything. We don't really need any of this stuff. We'll just live like we have nothing out of the van.
A couple of weeks after our first trip north, we decided to keep Phase 1 rolling and adventure up the Metro North Railroad again. This time, we made only a short stop at Blue Mountain and then decided to continue on and explore the waterfalls in nearby Kent Falls State Park, Connecticut.
Be brave. Is there anything good on the radio?
The fall weather had given way to a brief cold snap, which reminded us that the heater in our van was not working. Not to be deterred, we bundled up and headed out towards adventure.
I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great. Running out of town just to celebrate. The fortune's here to stay. A one-way ticket to a better day. A rocking chair and a glass of wine. In the shade of a tree and I'm feeling fine. There's not a lot to ask.
All right, Ashton, where are we at?
Connecticut.
Kent Falls State Park. We're gonna go look at some waterfalls, which is pretty cool.
It's pretty freezing.
I know.
Let's get back in the van.
It's really cold.
Life is going by so fast. One breath.
Despite the cold weather, the falls were breathtakingly beautiful. The hike was straight up, but wasn't very long, and you were rewarded with a new waterfall at every turn. We highly recommend you check this spot out if you happen to be in Connecticut.
What is real? The love you feel is like water in a glass. Don't try to say.
Well, we did it. We made it all the way up. From all the way. You can't even see it down. It's pretty beautiful up here though. And we got some hiking in, we got our steps in, so that's always good. Once you complete the hike up, then there's a simple matter of getting back down. The sun started to set, so it's getting a little bit dark. We don't want to be up here for too long once it starts getting too dark. But just a really pretty set of waterfalls. And once you get past the first platform or so, the crowds mostly disappear. I mean, it's January here, so that could have something to do with it.
Water in a glass. Don't try to separate the ones you hate from the ones that you don't
We had only owned the van for a couple of weeks, but we could already feel our perspectives change. We were now trying to steal tomorrow's every chance we could so that we could have a new adventure. At this point, we knew that it was time to move to Phase 2, a long road trip to Tulsa. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and a comment. It really helps us out.
So you jerk.
They're just moving.